I'm Mary Holland, and I'm General Counsel at Children's Health Defense, and we were here at an amazing rally today, November 7th, across from Governor Cuomo's mansion.
What can the people on the ground do to help RFK, to help Children's Health Defense today?
So to help Children's Health Defense, you go onto our website, www.children'shealthdefense.org, and sign up. So it's free, and you can get our newsletter every day, and it's not fake news. So 6 days a week, Tuesday through Saturday, you're going to get real, or Tuesday through Sunday, whatever, you're going to get real information about big tech, big pharma, big oil. We're now sort of covering it all. We're going to have somebody who just covers our movement for vaccine choice. We're also, if you have money to give, we're grateful. We're using the money to litigate and to end the lockdowns and to preserve the right to choice when it comes to vaccination and to, create better healthy conditions for children and hold accountable the people that have been making them so unhealthy. I'm very encouraged by what Rita Palma, who's working with Children's Health Defense New York, was talking about. I really do think that there's a new group of people coming into Albany. From now until they take office in January, let's go talk to those people. There is a bill right now in the New York State Legislature to restore a personal belief exemption to vaccination. Let's make that happen. I think now that there is potentially a COVID mandate, there are going to be a lot more legislators who are going to get on board for a personal belief exemption.
Can you talk a little bit about how you guys are litigating the religious exemption?
Sure. So I'll be honest with you. It's very hard to litigate these issues. The laws have been written in a very protective way of industry. So we, the day after we lost the religious exemption in New York State, Children's Health Defense hired Michael Sussman, and we sued that was actually hostility towards religion. It was animus towards people of religious faith, and we rested our arguments on a recent Supreme Court decision, 2018, the Master Cake Shop case. And we lost at the preliminary injunctions, not unusual, but there were hundreds of people in the courtroom. And Bobby Kennedy came and litigated that together with Michael. We lost. We're appealing it. The appeal, in my opinion, you can find all of this on our website, is very strong. There were statements made by legislators throughout, the Assembly and the Senate that you cannot interpret except as being animus towards people with religion. I mean, they scoffed at people's beliefs. They were like, oh, that's just an excuse. That's just a ruse. You don't really care about this issue. And it's like, it was so offensive that we'll see what happens on appeal to the appellate division in New York. Then it would go to the Court of Appeals in New York, and it might go to the U.S. Supreme Court. It's very well argued from my perspective. We lost. We also just brought a case, and we had an argument for the discrimination against people who had medical exemptions from their treating physicians, and the school said, no, we think your treating physician is wrong. Your treating physician may have been treating you for 10 years, but our principal, who's not a doctor, knows better. That's literally what's happened to hundreds of children in New York State. And so we've sued on their behalf. And again, disappointingly, we sued in federal court. We lost, but we're actually bringing an immediate appeal to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. And we're looking for other cases where we really can, end some of these draconian measures that have affected so many people around the world, but particularly in New York. So we've got a lot of other lawsuits going. We're suing Facebook for censorship. We're fighters.
Do you feel like there's room for adding the philosophical exemption back in after the religious exemption?
So I think what Rita Palma was talking about was in fact actually doing that. I think what will be the fight to go back into law is not a religious exemption. It will be a personal belief exemption or a philosophical or conscientious belief exemption. It will not be religion, because it is discriminatory to say, oh, this is a right for people with religious conscientious beliefs and not people who don't have religious beliefs. That's wrong. It's just what we had in New York. And in fact, the religious exemption was interpreted in a very capacious way in New York, so people could say, well, I'm not a Catholic, I'm not a Jew, but this is my deeply held, sincere religious belief. And in many cases, that was accepted. But I think what we go back with is going to be a broader law.
Awesome. And last question, do you feel that there is a path forward to sue the United States government for their lack of safety and effectiveness and a way to prove that these vaccines have not been safe and effective. I know with ICANN's work, they've proven and shown that most of these vaccines are not tested against placebos.
So we work closely with ICANN, and we're thrilled with the legal work that Aaron Siri has done, and he's masterfully used Freedom of Information Act requests and then litigation based on those Freedom of Information Act requests to prove that there is no science behind the safety of the hepatitis B. There is no placebo controlled. They have never reported to Congress, as they were required to do, HHS, on how they're making vaccines safer. So all of that's now in the public record, and I promise you, the big lawsuits are yet to come. In law, you really do have to take small bites and win incrementally, and then you get the landmark, Brown versus Board of Ed or something that overturns the whole paradigm. But you can't do that out of the box, and it's frustrating and it's slow.
Yeah.
But you have to go bit by bit by bit, and that's part of, I think, what we at Children's Health Defense have been doing for the last 2 years, is taking these small bites on the religious exemption, the medical exemption, the special needs children right to a free and appropriate public education, because when the COVID mandates come, we actually, forgot to mention, we were fighting, they put in place an MMR mandate in 4 Brooklyn zip codes, a universal mandate for children and adults in 2019, and that's on appeal. We had oral argument on that this week. So we have been fighting these smaller skirmishes before the big battles, which are when they are going to start mandating this for all healthcare workers, for all children, and then for all people in a state. And so we've been sort of finding our way and finding where the sort of the weaknesses are. But I want to be candid with people. It is not easy. The laws have been crafted at the federal and state level so that it is very hard to sue for all of the injuries that are happening from vaccine injury. I mean, they have insulated themselves very effectively. And so it is people in the streets, it is working with the legislature and litigating all together. That's going to be sort of the multi-pronged approach that we have to use.
Amazing. We'll continue to do it.